Back with us on the SportsMax Zone. Bright good afternoon to you once again, wherever you are watching our broadcast. We certainly hope that you will enjoy us as we have enjoyed doing the work on your behalf over the past, for the previous 12 months. We both things off with cricket, and on Sunday, the West Indies senior men's squad became the first international team to land in Bangladesh since COVID-19 was declared a pandemic in March last year. I'm showing you pictures of the players upon arrival. The 38-member contingent landed in Dhaka and have already taken one COVID-19 test. The contingent will isolate in their hotel rooms until Wednesday before being tested again. If both tests come back negative, the players will be cleared to train on day 4. The Windies now are due to play a practice match on January 18 at the BKSP ground in preparation for the opening one day set for Dhaka on the 21st. Still with West Indies cricket, 24 members of the senior women's team are in camp at the Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua. Yes, children, not in camp, but encamp. This is the first time the Windies women will be interacting with the new head coach, Courtney Walsh. These are the invitees: Alea Elaine, Renice Boyce, Shemaine Campbell, Shamelia Connell, Brittany Cooper, Deandra Dottin, Afi Fletcher, Cherry Ann Fraser, Shabika Gajnabi, Shanita Grimmond, Shawnisha Hector, Chanel Henry, Kiana Joseph, Jafina Joseph, Kaishona Knight, Haley Matthews, Natasha McLean, Anissa Mohammed, Chideen Nation, Karishma Ramarak, Casey Schultz, Shakira Selman, Steffi Sugrim, and the skipper Stefani Taylor. Now, the 3-week training camp, which ends on February 1, will see players and support staff living and training in a biosecure bubble. The head coach, Courtney Walsh, says, quote, "It's very gratifying the camp can take place during this challenging COVID-19 period as the players are excited about getting down to work. We have a good mixture of youth and experience coming into the camp, and I'm especially looking forward to working with some of the younger talent we have coming through." And Courtney Andrew Walsh, she joins us on the phone now. Good afternoon, Cuddy. Happy New Year.
Good afternoon, Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to all Jamaica.
Excellent. So I'm here with Lance. The first place to start, Cuddy, before we start talking about the important matter of the training that you are presiding over, your reaction to the passing of a torchbearer where women's cricket is concerned in the region, Vivian Latty Scott.
Well, I am shocked to hear the news. As I tell you now, you have just breaking that news to me because I've been busy all day today. So my condolences to her and the family. She's been a very close person to me right throughout when she played and when she became umpire and stuff. And I was always that kind of word to say to me from I was playing sunlight cricket. So it's a shock to the system, but I can only send out condolences to her and the family, and really, really sad to hear at this point in time.
Yeah, a trailblazer and a giant among women. All right, Cuddy, so you have the ladies in one place now for the first time since you took charge. What will be the program of work that yourself and your staff will be taking them through?
I'm going to keep them away from Mr. Lance Whitaker. That'll be the first thing.
All right, Cuddy.
On a serious note, this is the first time they'll be doing anything from the last tour of England. As you know, and as I keep saying, I don't think we play enough cricket in the region for the ladies. Enough has been done. A lot more can be done, I should say. So we're trying to start a process where we pay a lot more attention, get them to play and practice and have a lot more camps. This being the first camp, I would have loved to have had this camp from November, but because of the pandemic and stuff like that, it was pushed back and we didn't get the green light until for January. I've been said that we have a lot of challenges with Super 50 coming up and things like that, but I think it's very, very important for this camp to take place, especially with the qualifiers coming up later in the year. So we're going to be focusing on, getting the girls ready, work on the techniques. There's a couple of new coaches, new players and stuff, but to try and get a mindset of how we move forward. So this camp is going to be crucial in sort of assessing what we have and put in place what I would like to term as mechanism for moving forward, and also to ensure that everybody is on the same page. They know what we're looking to do, know what we're looking to achieve. There's total buy-in, and ensure that there's, going forward, it's West Indies cricket at the end for women's cricket, and to ensure that we work to improve the overall aspect of the game in every department. And hopefully once we can get that done, then, in a couple of months or a year time, we can start to see the achievements. But the immediate stuff right now is to assess what we have, go back to the drawing board, look at where we were, look at where we are, and then look at where we want to get to, and start making strides in trying to achieve those.
Yeah, 29 more days that you'll have these ladies. You break camp on February 9. I know that as you go along, you'll be focusing on different things in phases, but one of the criticisms that has been leveled at the women over the past few months, Cuddy, is the lack of physical fitness. And I don't need to tell you about the basis that physical fitness forms in the thrust to perform consistently well. What is it that you are planning to do to improve the levels of physical fitness of these ladies? And are there targets that you have at the start of camp and that the ladies will have to meet progressively as they go along to remain part of your considerations?
Well, what we've done to be a little bit ahead of the game was we gave them programs 6 to 7 weeks ago to start doing the fitness work. So we're assessing them as we speak now. The first part of the camp is to assess, so we'll have an idea as who did the work, who didn't, where we're at. We know we're going to have some challenges with that, but just to set the basic benchmark as to what the expectations are. And once they have done the work that we were sent out to them by the physical team, we're going to assess that, and the report will come into me in another day or two, so I know where everybody's at, and then we take that to use that as a guideline. And then we're not going to be too hard and fast at it because it's going to be new to them, but at the end of the camp, when we reassess again, we need to see the complete improvement as to where they are and who's going to be sort of in because they are adhered to the fitness schedule. And similar to what happened to the men, if once we set a standard and we have agreed to it, if you're not up to standard, then you're going to have to try to work your way to get up to standard. So definitely we're going to be focusing on getting everybody as fit as we can, as best as we can, to set the standard for that. And then, because I believe that once you're physically fit, then mentally and your skill will come into play, and then you can, take your challenges from there. So I have put a lot of emphasis on the fitness. I've given the physical instructor the scope to get everybody up to par, and then, so we can get the skill work done properly. So that's work in progress.
Yeah, Cuddy, I'm not sure if it's because I haven't seen you in a couple of years that you've chosen to be less than cordial to your longtime friend, but I will carry on nonetheless.
I was told that you still playing football, so I'll just vex I can't get a chance to be on the same ballpark with you, so I'll just throw something in.
Okay, Cuddy, that's fine. All right, we know that you have a tough job on your hands because based on the results of this current national regional women's team, the results haven't been very good. Going into that England series when they lost 5-0, Cuddy, the head-to-head results between the two teams had been pretty even, suggesting, that there wasn't much to choose in the past between England and the West Indies women. But the 5-0 sweep that the English team had over the West Indies team does suggest that the team has regressed. Do you see the team as a team that has declined, and does that make your job harder?
Yes, we have declined. There's no two ways about it. The facts and the figures shows that. We have regressed, as you say, and we are now ranked 6th in both competition. And for our World Championship team in 2016, and then by 2020, we're ranked 6th. It shows that you have regressed. So that's something that we have to address. The players will be made aware of it throughout this camp. We'll be looking at the ways and means and the areas that we need to improve upon. We look at the areas that we're still doing reasonably okay on, but then we're going to focus on the areas that needs improvement if we're going to get up the ladder.
Yeah.
And to be a challenging team, to be challenging for the World Cup in 2022. But the first thing we have to do is focus on the qualifiers, which is going to be this year. So there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of teams are ahead of us, and we have to use those as a benchmark to climb up the ladder with them. It's not impossible, but there's a lot of work to be done, and we've got to be doing it physically, mentally, and then get the skills to come into play as well. So it's going to take all efforts all around.
Yeah, you were quoted, Cuddy, as suggesting that there's too much load on just one or two players, and the team needs to consider their team effort and not leave the load to just a couple of players. In the England series, Deandra Dottin averaged 37, Stephanie Taylor averaged 26, and all of the other batters in the team average below the teens. How will you address something like that?
Well, we can't leave it just for Deandra and Steffi alone. And if you look back at most of the results or most of the times when the team has done well, it's maybe one or two players that has been consistent as lead the charge. We have got to get the team to start believing in themselves some more, and the performance of every individual will have to sort of get better. And you know, we have enough match winners around that we shouldn't really just be dependent on one or two person. So I think it's self-belief, that confidence that I think is not there, that we can get there. Because the ability and the talent is there, the work ethic has to improve as well, but we have to have a level of consistency and how we execute. We have to execute a lot better. I don't think we have executed as well as we can. So those are some of the areas that we'll be looking at. The level of consistency has to go up, and we have to be able to execute a lot better.
Yeah, I want to get a few comments from you, Cuddy, on two of the women that are on your coaching staff. Samantha Lynch, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines former all-rounder, who I heard her doing some commentary in the Vince Premier League last year. She sounds as if she has a good cricket brain. And Amanda Johnson, who is a mental skills coach. How much are they offering to the current camp that you're having there and the team as it looks ahead to serious competition?
I'll start with Samantha Lynch first. She's joining us for the first time, and I think it's good to have her with us to interact with the ladies. And she was a former player. She didn't play at the highest level, but she did her coaching courses. She has a good cricket brain. She's eager to learn. She wants to contribute, and she does a bit of work in the islands with us with the talent that is down there. So this is her first big exposure, so to speak, in a camp like this. But I think Cricket West Indies has done the right thing in sort of allowing her to come, because, you know, the work that she can do and the exposure. And we're trying to spread cricket for the females in the region. So having her here, and then she can learn from this camp, take back to her territory, and sort of put some of those implementations into place is a very, very good stuff. And I know her pretty well in terms of we did the same coaching course together. So I know she's eager to learn and she wants to be a part of it. And I'm going to afford her that opportunity to sort of get the exposure, get the experience, but go out and coach as well. And so we can observe her and see her and try to help her to guide her in that process. So I'm very excited that she's here. Amanda Johnson has been with the team for quite some time. And her mental skills is very, very good. She's very calm. She knows what she's doing. She's benefiting in terms of getting the team to be thinking along a certain way. I've had a serious talk with her in terms of we've got to get the team focus on the team mental stuff up, because she's been working a lot on the individuals. So for this camp, we've been doing a lot more teamwork, and I'm hoping that that will help us to sort of refocus more as a team as well, because yes, we need individuals to perform, but if the team is not performing, and as you say, just one or two individuals are performing, then the team is not going to be showing that improvement that we can show. So her role is vital, and happy to have both at my disposal and to have them to be able to work with.
Cuddy, everything you do in camps like this one will come to naught without the enabling environment outside of camp to provide the opportunity for skills to be honed. And the next 6 months, perhaps more than any 6 month period in your lifetime or the lifetime of any of us, very cloudy, what with COVID-19 and everything involved. But what is it that you think can be done to the immediate environment to give you a better level of player to work with when you convene a camp, when you're preparing for competition?
Well, I think the girls will have to play more regional tournaments. If we can get some cricket in the schools, if we can get some under-19 cricket played. I know they're looking at that because they're trying to get the under-19 World Cup going, and if we can be able to have that sort of influx at the youth level where we have more the talent, extend the talent pool. At the moment, we probably have about 40 cricketers or 45 we can look at quite easily. If we can get that pool to 70 or 80 with a lot of youngsters coming through, then that'll be a good feeding ground, so to speak, to look at. So that is one aspect. I think playing more competitive cricket, international matches, definitely needs to be looked at. We played just the World Cup this last year in Australia and then at a tour of England. So that's twice a year. Twice a year is not going to improve our play, in my estimation. We need to play some more games and have some more competition. So these are some of the things that can happen or should happen, so we can sort of base our improvement and look at where we are and see how we're getting to where we want to go to, and the process that we're using, so we can judge ourselves and then try to make the necessary improvements.
Excellent. Well, Cuddy, in 30 seconds, the Caribbean public, as they look on, a year from now, you're still in the job, you still have your team. what is it that you would like to, well, how is it that you'd like them to grade you in 12 months' time, given that you would have had a year to work with the team?
Well, I would like them to grade me to say that I've done a good job in terms of the performance and the results that we want to show. And the first thing on my agenda for the next 6 months will be the qualifiers. We have the qualifiers coming up, and I'm focusing on that fully. And if we can have a very successful World Cup campaign after the qualifiers, then they could judge me on that. But for me, the first major picture for me is the qualifiers. That we go there and we qualify, because we need to do that to give ourselves a chance of doing pretty well in the World Cup.
Yeah, and could just one thing quickly before you go. Of course, you were with the Bangladesh coaching staff between 2016 and 2019, so you are coming out of the Bangladesh setup, recently and fairly fresh in your mind. Any quick thoughts on the job the West Indies men have to do as they settle in Bangladesh?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be pretty easy down there. It's going to be probably, I think, and they might prove me wrong, but I think it's going to be a contrast, completely different stuff to what we saw in New Zealand. Bangladesh is going to probably play about 4 spinners, maybe 1 seamer, so the playing conditions are going to become much, much different. So it's going to come down to concentration level, shot selection, and really discipline in terms of spending time out there as much as you can in the middle, and backing your own judgment and your defense, because those spinners are accustomed to it in Bangladesh, and that's what I think they're going to throw at us. So we have to have a mindset. But I think if the West Indies team play good, aggressive cricket as best as they can with the bat, then that would set us up to have a very good series on it. And I don't see no reason why we can't do well there. But it's not going to be easy. We should not say, oh, it's just Bangladesh, and expect to turn up and, to roll them up. Because the last time West Indies played in Bangladesh, when I was involved as a Bangladesh coach, Bangladesh won that series. So I would love to see the West Indies turn the table now.
Excellent. Courtney Walsh, thank you for your time, and all the best to you and your team as you work with the ladies to try to turn around performances and bring some level of consistency to a team that not so long ago was punching hard with the best of the lot in women's cricket.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Courtney Andrew Walsh there, the coach of the senior West Indies women's team. It's time for a break.